Journal. According to a national crime victimization survey, over 467,000 people were victims of a crime committed with a firearm in 2011 in an effort to bring an end to gun violence in our city. Assemblyman Kareem Kamara organized an emergency summit on reducing gun violence in New York's urban communities, and our Neighborhood Journal cameras were there.
In 2012, New York City had 1,335 crimes committed with the use of a firearm. 6,255 were committed throughout the state of New York. This encompasses nearly 20% of all crimes during that year.
We spend $210,000 a year to incarcerate a young person, but we only spend $30,000 a year to educate them.
In New York City, black males 20 to 30 years old make up 3% of the population, but make up 1/3 of those who are killed.
On August 6, 2013, an emergency summit was held to discuss how to reduce gun violence in New York's urban communities. It was held at the John Jay School of Criminal Justice. Panelists included professors, clergy, elected officials, family members of victims, as well as reformed offenders.
Today is an effort to deal with the constant violence pervasive in so many urban communities throughout our state. Indeed, it's throughout our country, but we want to focus on New York City and New York State.
First of all, focusing on the community level, making sure we do whatever we can to intervene in gun violence. That involves directly intervening and working with gangs and others who might be tempted to pick up guns and get involved in violence.
Oftentimes, talking about the problem is much easier than seeing the faces of it. The panelists and guests were lucky enough to witness what a reformed mind can do when given the right opportunity.
Gun violence is something that I live on a regular basis. You know, I'm from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and we actually have the highest rating of shootings throughout New York City. So I've known numerous young people who lost their lives to gun violence. I myself, growing up, unfortunately, I was a part of that culture. I knew someone who was involved in it.
It's a national epidemic when children are killing each other, and it's something that's heavy on my heart. I feel that we have to do more about. That's key to us as being human beings, as having a sensitivity to children that are dying. We lose more children here each year in the United States during peacetime than children that die in Iraq, Afghanistan, etc.
One of the things that today's event shows is that there is an extraordinary interest in people working on the ground in our communities, thinking about the bigger picture, and also a real interest in people who are supposed to be looking at this problem at the macro level, but also getting down and talking to people in communities who are working with our youth and working with others who might be inclined to violence to figure out how we can better support those efforts.
This is a serious issue, and some people really do care about it. So I think that was really the highlights for me, seeing that there are actually people who cares and who are in the room, not only speaking, but actually trying to come up with solutions on how to handle the situation.
We know what the problem is. Children are dying. What are we going to do about children dying? And that's what this effort is about.
And at the end of the day, I think one of the things that will come out of today is a better understanding of the range of things that we need to do to diminish this problem.
As people, just humanity, we need to care for each other and talk to our young people, mentor them, provide services for them, after-school programs, and just have a conversation with them and see what is it that's bothering them and how we can help.
Though there's much work left to be done, changes are being made all throughout New York City and across the country. With communities getting behind these programs, our youth now have more options than ever before. For Neighborhood Journal, I'm Shauna Ryan.